Welcome to the October 2021 horoscopes. This is week 2 of October. I am Miss Jenny, and I am your astrologer. Okay, so starting this week, we're actually going to go backwards before we go forwards, and I want to start with the new moon that occurred last week because this is kind of important. So we know that we had a new moon at 13 Libra around October 6th, and at the same time, Venus was changing signs. Pluto was making its direct station. But there were also a few other things going on. This new moon's a little tricky, and it will spill over into the second week of October. So here's some of the other things that are going on with the new moon. At the time that this new moon is occurring, we're also getting not one, but two quincunxes or inconjuncts. Mercury will be making a quincunx to Neptune just prior to the new moon on October 5th. So we've got a Mercury-Neptune quincunx happening under the new moon. Now, the thing about it is, with Mercury and Neptune quincunxing each other, because a quincunx or an inconjunct is a lot like a blind spot, right? So there's like having horse blinders on. There's stuff that you're just not seeing on either side of you, right? It's kind of a bit of a tunnel vision thing happening. They're really a pain in the butt to have to deal with if they're in your natal chart. So Mercury quincunx Neptune emphasizes the distinct possibility and reality that there may be some significant blind spots operating at this time around the new moon. Now, the other thing is the new moon is considered the dark side of the moon. So whenever you have things going on under the dark side of the moon, they're much harder to see. Remember, full moons illuminate, right? They show everything, right? They turn the light switch on in the darkness and suddenly everything's visible. New moons are the exact opposite. So it is as if someone turned the lights out. So everything is much harder to see except the absolute most obvious things that are right in front of your nose. So with this new moon and this Mercury-Neptune quincunx, it absolutely suggests there are some major blind spots happening here, right? Things that are really, really hard to see, okay? And, if we've gotten through last week and you're watching this video, like this is not anything anybody wants to hear, right? However, while that quincunx is happening, the other thing happening around this new moon is we have Mars quincunx Uranus. And Mars quincunx Uranus occurs on the same day that Pluto makes its exact station direct. So, and this is all with this new moon. So there are multiple things happening because astrology is never simple, right? So the new moon, aside from this blind spot with a quincunx and the veil of darkness that the dark side of the moon represents, the other thing is that the new moon also represents new cycles, right? New cycles being set into motion. With that side of the new moon that we're dealing with a Pluto station direct and Mars quincunx and Uranus at the same time, what this also promises is some exposure. And the veil is being ripped away. So there's going to be a whole lot of skeletons coming tumbling out of a closet and a lot of soap opera-esque type dramatic turns of corners. Like, oh my God, wait, what do you mean you're my long lost half brother that was given away for adoption and now we are getting married? Like, this can't be possible. And you're my uncle too? I mean, it won't involve those types of dynamics, but it's the same idea. Like, if you think about the most ridiculous, unexpected, like, oh my God, happening in soap operas because you didn't see it coming. This is the kind of stuff we have happening with this Pluto station, and it will be made all the more dramatic because so much of this is going to be hard to see. So literally, it's going to be almost impossible to have seen it coming ahead of time. Now, the good side of this is that Uranus always rips away the veil of illusion because Uranus is the planet of honesty. It's also the planet of sociopaths. And if you've ever known people who are too honest for their own good and your comfort, there's a bit of sadistic, like sociopathy or psychopathy involved in that, right? Like sometimes truth hurts and sometimes that kind of truth hurting is really not necessary. No, I want you to lie to me about how this dress looks on me. So, sorry. With this Mars-Uranus quincunx and this Pluto station happening simultaneously under the dark side of this moon, starting a brand new cycle, what we can also expect are some things to be revealed, or skeletons that come tumbling out of the closet, or some things being, well, not brought to light, but thrown under the spotlight. Talk about getting thrown under a bus. Happening at this time because Pluto doesn't play. Pluto doesn't play, and Pluto doesn't play favorites. And Pluto is all about everybody getting what they need and sometimes getting what they don't need, but certainly like some learning lessons in a big spiritual karmic way. Pluto transits are just so what I would say as we start this second week of October is definitely keep an eye out for some interesting, unexpected soap opera level, like dramatic, wow, where did that come from, turn of events around this new moon. And you can thank Pluto and Mars in conjunct, or quincunx and Uranus, at the same time that Pluto's turning direct, while Mercury is quincunxing Neptune, creating this huge blind spot, making it impossible for us to have seen this coming. So, all in all, I would think that this should be a good thing. The first week of, I'm telling you, this whole first week of October that we've just survived has not been great, and it's also an omen or a portent of things to come as we get down into November, right? So we're getting a little bit of a preview or like a little teaser that's going to tie into events in November, and it's all going to have to do with resources. So it's not just money, it's also food, it's also shelter, and it's also manpower, right? So anything that is a potential resource that allows you to live, just sustain yourself, sustain life. These are the things that are really coming up in a huge way in November, to a crisis point. We're getting a little teaser of how these things are being set up. The game pieces are being set up now before then. And that was the first week of November. Now, coming back to this week. So this week on the 12th, we have a quarter moon at 20 Capricorn. Yikes, not the easiest quarter moon, but it is a decision maker or a deal breaker, but definitely an impasse breaker. So the quarter moon at 20 Capricorn will pull in that Pluto station direct. So any of this farting around people have been doing, or obstructioning that they've been doing, or being just a freaking contrarian. We're going to do Kristen Cinema's chart in another week or so. I did her chart earlier and I was going to post it, but I didn't think anybody was interested, but she's literally lived up to what her chart promises. Anyway, so whatever these things are that are just stupid, right? Just stupid, contrary, obstruction, like spiteful, petty. This quarter moon is going to bring the hammer down and literally set the game pieces straight. Like it's going to clear the board and we're going to start all over again. Now, this will be good because my suspicion is, as I do this on September 30th, we're not even into the first week of October yet, but my suspicion is this business here in the United States with Congress and in these bills, I don't think that we're going to get through it this week. I really don't, because the aspects are not supporting clear, clean-cut decisions that just kind of move, right? However, things will reach critical mass, can and will reach critical mass for a lot of issues. And maybe this bill, whatever this is, if it hasn't gone through already, in the second week of October, when the quarter moon involves that Pluto. So spankings all around for lots of folks. But we will definitely, things will move. Now, the other reason I say this is just prior to that quarter moon, we also have Saturn stationing direct. Saturn will station direct at 6 degrees Aquarius on the 10th, 2 days before that quarter moon. Now, this particular Saturn station, it's an important one. It's also an uncomfortable one. This week is a tricky week, but it's a good week in terms of making some headway in your personal life and elsewhere. So with Saturn stationing direct, the thing about the Saturn stationing direct is that it's going to simultaneously involve Venus quincunxing itself, Venus quincunxing Saturn, and the Sun quincunxing Uranus. So literally separating the wheat from the chaff, like cutting the crap and get on with it. That's literally the theme of this week, and especially with this quarter moon and that Saturn station happening simultaneously. It's 48 hours from each other, but they're pretty much on top of each other. So, and this is the energy we get with that. Cut the crap. So look for momentum and breaks and movement, and a whole lot of people being stupid, literally getting sidelined finally, all right, so we can get on with stuff. So that's good. Now, for your personal life, what I would say, because at the same time during this week, the Sun will be making very good aspects. It will be going into hard aspects the week after, but for this week, it will be making trines to Mercury, and trines to Mars. This will make this a potentially very productive week and a very fast moving week. So if you set your agendas up right, you should be able to make a lot of headway very quickly during this week, which you're going to want to do, because obviously the first week of October is going to be dicey, all right, because of personalities and power plays with, certain personalities. The third week of October is going to be a little bit more complicated, and we're going to go back to some of this, things reaching critical mass and, so that second week of October, if you've got something you really need to push through, this is a good week to really kind of like make things move. The other thing as we go into this second week of October, what do we got here? Yeah. Watch what happens with your money and your jobs. Because this Saturn station direct is absolutely going to pull in the 27-degree eclipse that we have next month. Now, next month, this 27-degree eclipse is going to be conjunct Algol, the fixed star, Medusa's head. So it's a it's a powerful fixed star, and it can be messy depending on how it's used or what context it's in. This Saturn station on the 10th, this second week of October, is absolutely going to activate or pull in the energy of this Algol eclipse next month. So keep an eye on things that are happening in your life when Saturn goes direct. When Saturn changes direction, goes direct, and things start untangling themselves. So people who may have been at a disadvantage may find themselves a lot more powerful now than they thought they were. Use your power wisely. And that is, I think that's it. So that's going to cover the second week of October. Again, the quarter moon is occurring. So we've got Saturn station direct on the 10th. It will activate or pull in the November eclipse on the fixed star Algol, Medusa's head. At the same time, Saturn, no, I'm sorry, I just said that. At the same time, like 2 days later, we've got the quarter moon at 20 Capricorn, which is going to pull in Pluto as it's just station direct. So we've got some big, powerful concentration of energy and events happening around the 10th, 11th, and 12th. So keep an eye on that and see how that plays out. This also, too, remember, this week we've got Sun trining Mercury and Mars, making progress and efforts easier and assisted. So things that need to get done are going to get done a lot more easily this week. So we're going to get a lot more cooperation and a lot more momentum in terms of things happening. So plan for that if you've got stuff you need to get done with the least amount of resistance and issue if possible. Also, we've got a huge thing going on right now around this new moon on the 6th. Which will clear up by the quarter moon on the 10th and through the 12th with Saturn going direct. But those days between the new moon on the 6th all the way down to like Saturn stationing, we're definitely going to have like a little weird wibble wobble going on because we're operating in a blind spot. So there's a whole lot of people who may be acting with a lot of confidence and hubris that may have their behinds handed to them on a silver platter by the time Saturn goes direct and the quarter moon hits involving Pluto. Okay, and was there something else this week I wanted to mention? I think that covers it. All in all, it's a good week. It's a productive week. It's an easy week, less nail-biting than we were dealing with before. We do have some soap opera type unexpected things happening, but they will be happening in ways that rip the veil of illusion away from people who are hiding stuff to begin with. So if you've got stuff you've been hiding, you might want to keep that in mind and maybe clean house a little bit. Just saying. Now, Venus is in Sagittarius at this point, and Jupiter, while still retrograde, is going direct this month. So we're under a Jupiter station this week as well, which disposits that Venus in Sagittarius. So optimism, hope, and lucky breaks are absolutely all over the place this week if you keep your eye out for them and you're doing the right thing. So don't despair. Whatever's going on the first week of November, do not despair. Don't let it disturb your sleep. We're going to get through this. This is, these things need to happen because people need to see them. Apparently, this is the only way people are going to pay attention. But we will get through this. We will get through this. Truth and goodness will prevail. And this second week of October will give us an opportunity to see just how the fickle finger of fate and the divine hand of the cosmos works in mysterious ways. Talk to you guys soon.